I think we can get back live here.
What are you saying? Did you blame me?
No.
Energy, Julie came in here with all that energy, knocking things off. Internet said, "Oh, can't handle that."
All right, let's see
funny.
if this is going to go live. I'm not sure.
You're live.
Are we live?
Oh.
I can see it.
Oh, okay, good, because because I can't. Let's see. Yeah, I guess we are.
There's
all right, everybody. I think we are. All right, so Lucky, can you see it? Because I cannot.
Yeah, I have my phone here, which I wasn't going to do, but something told me, hey, check something. And I looked, and then I looked, it wasn't going. And then then he said something, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think it's going.
Well, folks, if you're watching us, then this is we're re-live again. Yeah, I can see it now that we're back. So they'll come over. I'm sure they will. And by the way, I was completely unaware. I was so much into the conversation. It's like it said live, but we weren't live, but we are alive. So welcome back, everybody. I like how you had it, Lucky. It's all cool.
Yeah.
Technology isn't going to rule us. It's not going to sway us with its, one way. We're going to keep the only way. So welcome back, everybody. Maybe that's why the rest of the folks did not have the opportunity. Maybe they were trying to get on, but weren't able to. And now the old invite won't work because we're in a new invite.
Oh, gosh.
So I'm going to tell you what, y'all talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to go in and re-invite who was on our list. And then, so y'all just talk to yourself.
We can sing. All of us could sing a song together.
I'm glad I'm recording this.
I love you too much to do that to you.
Oh, I like this.
Oh, go on, Jenny. What's your favorite song, love?
I care about you far too much to do that to you. No, I don't know, when people ask me that, all of a sudden I see all of these different lyrics. I've never been able to pinpoint on the spot, pinpoint an artist or a type of music or a song, because I literally I can be taken by all sorts.
Well, last Saturday I had this massage and I went back to this music event where we go to regularly, and the guy that was singing was it was divine music, and it was the perfect music to listen to after a massage, because I am sure I could see many things dancing.
I bet you did. I bet you did. See, my mum used to sing.
I was in the bush. It was a bush. We have bush gatherings all the time out from where we live, and they had a music event on, and he was just, he's had, Passenger's voice. The guy Passenger. Have you heard of him?
You sing a song?
Oh, I don't know what one he sings, but that tone, it was just divine.
When I hear things like that, I think of those ancient cones that Robert Seffer did a video on, and they're literally made out of stone, and we don't know how they would be made today. And they're these cones, and they make perfect frequencies that we can hardly do with any technology we've got. And there's a lot of knowings that these cones, this sound that it made, and these, but like sound bowls being different sizes, making different tones, but like that, but in cones, and it's like spiraled, like a shell on top of a snail. So they've got that phi going on in the equation, and then they've got these tones that we cannot replicate, and it's thought that they were, and I've really felt it so, that they were used to bring in physical matter, to bring slow physical matter into manifestation. Where we could be, and the tones and we don't even know if we're knowing that using them. so that's when I hear voices like that, and then I think of videos like that, I think, wow, it really is a frequency key, isn't it, when they hold those tones and notes. And see, I was very lucky. My mum could sing like a bird. You know,
wow.
she was offered a contract at one point. She didn't take it because of me, but it meant that I know I robbed her of so much, but she used to clean and sing every Saturday, and so I literally grew up with what I felt was a concert on a Saturday, and I think that's how I could do half of the things I could do as a kid, because she could put me in that calm or in that glee, or you know, just with her voice, and she would be hoovering and dusting and bleaching and doing again, you know, just singing these tones. Magical.
My mum and dad used to sing a bit together, not professionally, but when dad was at his last and mum would go to visit in hospital, they'd be singing and everyone would hear it through the hospital, you know, and they'd comment on their singing, and they sang so well together.
If that's not love, I don't know what is, you know, and you can match your voices like that and still sing to the very last day. They'll never be apart.
No.
Wow.
Well, there is an expression, Jenny, that says make a joyful noise.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah. I mean,
it's so important that we do get back to singing.
It is. And you have your own frequency that comes out of your singing.
Yeah.
That's right. Sing your name. We did that once, a group of women. We all stood in a circle and we all sang our name to each other.
Wow, that's like the mermaids, you know, doing that when they tell you the name in the cartoon, you know, and it comes out.
Actually, that was very good, Jenny.
Under the water, you know, it's frequency, tone, you know. But that's amazing, and it is so true that I remember a boy at school. He had a terrible not a terrible stammer, but he didn't like his stammer. It was very debilitating. He couldn't get 2 words out without it being very, very affected. You know, his voice would really stutter, stammer. I don't know what the right term is for it, but he could sing. And if
a lot of them can.
If he sang his questions out to the teacher, it didn't break once. He sounded like velvet. And that was just as a boy. And he was actually in a school band. And he rocked. I mean, the tones coming out of that boy, you would never have believed that he wasn't the most eloquent, smooth speaker in the world if you'd only heard him sing. And so we all got used to him singing his questions to the teacher, you know, and felt quite
why not?
class, you know, we felt quite proud that he was in our class, you know, so he really used it.
There's a famous country western singer that was a stutterer, but he could sing, you know, with a voice that like the angels. Lucky, do you sing?
I was going to ask the same question.
Badly, but I do sing when I do the chants, the affirmations and the favor. I do sing that because spirits tend to like that, tend to listen more when you're singing. It's easier too for some reason.
There is it's interesting you say that, because again, a lot of times, like in the shower, I'll sing in tongues, you know, and
all the time,
and it's I find I can hit higher pitches and lower lows into the syllables and the vowels than I can actually do in English.
That's so true, because I can't sing really very well at all, and I don't know if it's because I go to mum's standards of what she could do, but when I sing in tongues, I can really, I sound like a Norse songbird, you know, for the tribe, because I can get real low and real high compared to when I just try and sing a song. But Michelle Reed said in the chat, remember how they changed the hertz of music very deliberately in an aspect of the cycle, because they know the power of it. They know the power of just turning that notch a tiny bit changes a whole reality and a whole power complex.
Well, my grandson, because his special need, he calls it noisic. He come up with the word, and he won't listen to any music on the radio.
Oh, because it sounds
Interesting.
distorted to him.
Yeah.
He can
He
read the
called it
code
noisy.
there. So he's reading music code already,
Yeah.
like picking up on the blueprint of the music, because he's not even listening to the words or the funky beat. He's just hearing the chaos. So it's a little bit like on the movies when they play the records backwards, you know, and hear the real. He's hearing the real intonation of the music, isn't he?
It's like hearing Hebrew. You know, if you ever hear a rabbi, you know, reading the Torah, it's almost very rhythmic. In fact, a lot of what they do, it's known, their words will open up portals.
Yes, they do. They do, which is why they gave us English. English was a cone. It's a wedge. English, we use the top half of the throat rather than the guttural sounds, you know, like the Middle Eastern, you know. And when you're using the H's, tones, it literally can feel it opening portals in yourself, can't you? You literally, I don't know why my camera's going off.
Don't question, just go with it.
Yeah. Talking. Do you think it's as simple as somehow getting together as a musical, lyrical, legendary vigilante group and setting up speakers simultaneously around the world and blasting out a hertz of love or peace? Or imagine, because most things are built on illusion that we're living under that we don't like right now. Well, they all are. They're all built under consent. And they've managed to do it by doing tiny little things, not the big things, the little things like turning the hertz knob, you know, just a little bit back or a little bit too fast, just by a fraction. They've managed to change people's mentality through music just by that alone. So imagine if it is just that simple. Like it's
well, I know a woman who actually is doing that, is sending out high freak vibes. Yeah. It'll come
as
out.
y'all were talking, it's interesting. Back in my days of my religion, I can remember, I guess there were a couple hundred of us who actually got together and were singing in tongues. And it was amazing what began to happen, because the person playing the guitar suddenly got into this rhythm and this and the notes began. And then the rest of as the congregation was singing in this unknown tongue, things happen. That's all I can tell you. The supernatural, the portals were open. I saw.
My hands were standing on end.
Well, I saw standing. At the time, my interpretation was I saw this chorus. They were angelic beings, and it went as far as my vision could go, and they were singing with us. Now, here's the weird thing: they recorded it. They got our voices. There's other voices, and you can go on the internet. There are other examples of this all over, that it seems when you reach that frequency, that tone, that it opens the barrier, and the ethereal beings then join in. And it's quite remarkable what happens. I believe we can do that as a group here.
Yeah, I do. That's what I'm saying, because when you've just spoken there, what I've just seen.
By the way, the hair is raising all over me as well.
Yeah, all over me. I've got tingles. And what I saw when you were speaking there was literally layers of cosmos, layers of the galaxy, and how an echo chamber can be created, you know, when you make a connection into another dimension like that, how it's almost like past the vibration on. Imagine all of the different layers that music can get through, that words just could not in their single form, but like a stream managing to just slip through dimensions and leave that echo, you know, wherever it touches. I mean, wow.
It's mind-boggling when you see it, you know, because it just demonstrates how powerful we are as these beings, whatever you want to call us.
If you look at
They
the
are
temples,
powerful.
they still do it, don't they? They go into the temples and I hear them. And in India and stuff like that, you hear, and I'm not saying that's all set up right, because of organized religion, the very people that should be in there with the men aren't, but never mind, you hear them and they're singing their prayer and it sounds magical.
It's the blowing of the shofar.
They're singing. Yeah, sometimes I really don't like what they're singing and I go, oh, but I feel it. Good or bad, I feel it. And so, and that's taken away from us, because they've even limited how much that goes on in the Christian churches. They've diluted it so much, so that the very people that have been taken so far away from it, which is the Western world, are just so detached and confused and diluted.
It's moving. And as we're talking, the memories of past that I've experienced, as I said, have y'all been ever into a service where the shofar has been blown?
Where the
shofar.
Shofar.
No.
Yeah, you see, the shofar is a ram's horn, and it is what the high priest would blow before Passover.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yes, we do that with pagan community. We were blowing horns at the festival. Yeah. It's very powerful.
So the shofar, the reason the ram's horn is used is the way that the horn is actually constructed, and done properly, it announces, and it is this opening. It's quite powerful. I still have my prayer shawl, because there was that one time I was going to convert to Judaism. So I know the religion and I know it very well. And the rituals that they do, it has to do with sound.
Well, that's it. But at the fire festival, at the pagan festival, when I was opening up that ceremony, there was a group of guys that sound the horn to welcome the elementals in.
Ah, yes, yes.
The third day, we'll have to get you a horn. But the third day, Sigurd, a friend of mine, blew the horn, and he blew it so beautifully. And I was with the Druid priest doing this, this fire ritual where people were walking the coals, and it was a way of self-affirmation for them. They were all doing it for all different reasons, but it was a sacred circle. And me and Zach, the priest, just looked through the trees, and the sun just hit such a beautiful point in these trees, and the elementals, you could just see this sort of pixelation over the leaves as things came by, and everybody that day in the circle had such an experience. It was amazing, and that was the horn really opened that up. It really did.
See, I believe we can do this as a group. I believe that is what we're doing. When we're coming together, I know this is week 2. And by the way, thank you, Lucky. Everyone owes Lucky a great deal of thank you, buddy. You and Courtney have been they've been doing the heavy lifting. And I thank you, Lucky. I know you have a busy schedule, but wow, buddy.
It's not my choice. It's actually not you driving this. It's the spiritual realm, and I have to follow their lead. So I'm lucky to have that. I have 2 levels. I have my physical level and I have my spiritual level. At least my spiritual self is taking control of a lot of this. It's weird living 2 lives, but it can be done. I can't express how I do it, because half the time like today, I've only slept about 2 hours. It felt like I've slept 8 hours because my spiritual side's been going out. Oh, the physical side, let you rest for a couple hours. Let me do my thing. Okay. But it energizes me. Whatever.
Yeah. You're amazing, Lucky.
I tell you, he's an inspiration. There's no doubt about it.
It's so easy. Once you fall into it, it just comes easier and easier and easier. So anyone can do it. It's just you're just gonna accept it. That's one of the things, is that for a long time I fought the voices. I thought, oh, crazy people talk to these voices. Crazy people see the people who can't see. No, if you accept it and go with it and just listen. Listen to the ego, listen to the higher self, listen to the little self inside, the child inside of you?
Inner child.
Yes, listen to the inner child. Listen. Yeah. If you can listen And you don't have to argue, you don't have to justify, you don't have to,
No.
react to it. You just have to listen, and you get so much done by just listening.
That's correct.
Yeah.
The biggest problem is people kill the ego, fight the ego, don't listen to the ego. No, you listen to the ego. You don't react to the ego, but you listen, because the ego has a teeny tiny bit of truth. But because you won't listen, it acts like a jerk. It goes all over. It just says all these horrible things because you don't pay attention to it. There's a little piece of truth that you're not listening to. And once you start listening to the ego more and more and more, it becomes less negative, and the truth comes out more and more. But
as you were talking, Lucky, I was back in New York City, right off Lexington and Fifth, and the reason why it brought me back to that is that there was, and it was very crowded, but there was a man, I would say, in his probably late 40s, but having a conversation with a group of people that no one else saw, but they were there. And it was real interesting because I followed him, because wherever he went, it seemed like when people began to realize that this dude was having a conversation, but with no human being around them, it's like the water parted. And because it was interesting because as I walked behind him, I could actually feel the energies that he was actually. It was very interesting, and it taught me something, because in large, dense populations, these entities come in density as well. Mm-hmm. It's like it's a smorgasbord. Yeah. I mean, the energy is just abundant, and there are more sensitives out there that I keep saying that don't realize that they're sensitives, intuitives, whatever you want to call them, and they don't understand what's going on. Mm-hmm.
A lot of them as well are labeled mentally ill, because they hear, I've experienced it and felt very sorry for a couple of people that I've known, where I've known they've been hearing what they've been hearing. And then, the medication steps in, and, because they can't be hearing that. And to me, they started then hearing the same voices, but in a very distorted way. Just how the brain and body felt distorted on this medication, it was almost as if they just put a muffle over these voices. So these voices then weren't making any sense, where at least they were before. And it really all depends on what family support you've got around you, where you live, and which doctor you see, as to whether you're safe from a mental ward or not, and I think it's a very sad thing in society, whereas people in a tribe would still be revered as a child, coming in and saying things like I did to my mum, and thankfully she is who she is, saying, you do realize there's this behind you, you do realize such and such said this, because then they take it and harness it and teach the child how to shut the windows and doors when necessary, to have space of your own, to be discerning but strong, to be welcoming but able to push out too. All of that is then harnessed because it's seen as a special gift rather than a illness or a label. And I think it's one of the heartbreaking times in our reality when mental institutions, alongside Christianity for the main part, were brought in.
It's interesting you talk about the medication. When I was recovering from the meningitis and Lyme disease, the thing with my neurologist, I couldn't get excited. I couldn't get elevated emotions. And so they had me on a number of drugs that basically just zones you out. You just cannot, you don't feel any emotions. And being that I have always been an intuitive, an empathic individual, when you suppress those, there's no outlet for them to go. It can become a very vile essence within a person, because again, there is this counterforce that there's no release for it. And my release was my religion.
Yeah.
And that's how I released a lot of my psychic energy, was through my religion. I was very well adaptive to that. But in today's world, where here in the United States, the pharmaceutical industry represents 60% of all advertising done on television and radio. And it is mind-boggling to see what happens, because what we're really doing here is that we're changing the chemical aspect of our natural natures. Mm-hmm. And it has a blowback. Jules, I see you shaking your head over there.
Yep, natural's best. Go out in the garden.
No argument. But now, even here in the United States, natural is now synthetic.
Oh, yeah.
It's artificial.
I mean in your garden. I mean, in your own garden.
But, and Lucky, I'm sure you know a little bit about this as well.
Yeah, I'm not the best when I'm working with a company I work for, because I've gone so far against the pharmaceuticals and everything I do. You know, I eat a lot less. I eat like oatmeals and yogurts, and I eat less, but still keep the weight. I'm not overweight at all. I keep the normal weight on, but I'm eating a lot less, and it's just amazing. Of course, you know, I've been on the pharmaceuticals before, and I'm off all of them, and I just don't need them. You know, everything's pretty much balanced. You know, I do take a vitamin here and there because our diet is just so hard to
I
get
do
the
take
right
supplements every day. Yeah,
I take some minerals. The minerals are always minerals. You can't, you know, that just is. And I even use natural baking soda in my water, because the tiny bit in my water, because just eating normally during the day and the stresses, you know, it kind of gets that acid up a little bit. So during the day, I feel it okay a little bit. I'll put a little bit, tiny, like a pinch of baking soda. It solves everything, you know. Yeah,
well,
a little bit goes a long way.
With baking soda.
What's that, Jules?
I clean my teeth with baking soda.
Me too. Yeah, that's what
I haven't used toothpaste
that I
for
make.
years.
Yeah. I use baking soda and sage and whatnot and mint.
Yeah, it's dirt cheap, and you know it can solve so many problems. You know, it's a teeny.
It is simple.
Oh, so simple.
It's actually classed as on the food grade thing as one of the most gentle and effective things you can actually brush your teeth with.
It solves so many problems.
And like Lucky says, you only need a little bit, because you don't want to alkalize your mouth too much. You know, you want the balance there. So a little bit of that, a little bit that. I make toothpaste out of it, and I only
do once. I only clean my teeth before I go to bed. I scrape my tongue when I wake up in the morning, but I brush my teeth before I go to bed, because that's another thing is you need all that bacteria in your mouth as well. You know, the whole theory that you need to clean your teeth all the time is actually false.
Yeah. Yeah, you can overdo it very easily. Yeah. I do it twice a day, but
yeah. Well, but that's just what I do. You know, that's what I've, but I have
a lot of people apparently use or use baking soda for brushing their teeth. Right. And a lot of take supplements as well. Yeah, our food, particularly in the minerals, you know, it's so sad. I mean, Lynn suffered for a while with anemia, low iron. And it's amazing for women how many women suffer from low iron. I didn't realize it was as prevalent as it was, but and
parsley's good for that. Parsley builds your iron up.
Well, and she's eating a lot more greens and in those areas, because I'm a spinach addict.
Yeah,
I loves me my spinach, you know. That's all I can say. Well, it's good stuff, and
fry spinach up in peanut butter. It's lovely. If you fry it in peanut butter, it tastes
spinach and peanut butter. That's an interesting combo.
It's an African dish. Yeah, it was my African friend who taught me it, and it tastes lovely.
I would have never thought such a thing.
So you're eating the spinach raw with your peanut paste, or you steamed it?
No, you just very lightly fry it, you know, in the peanut butter, just very lightly, you know, so it's still crunchy, and then you know, just eat.
Well, I suppose I do stir fry and add nuts to it, so it's nearly the same. It's just that it's not paste; it's a whole nut.
I love this, and you know, boy, we're talking on food. Wow. Have you heard about what's happening here in America on the baby formula?
Oh no.
They're not making it.
Oh, really?
The shelves, yeah, then the manufacturers are saying it's supply chain, yada yada. But the reality is, estimates now this morning, 10 to 14 million babies in America, there's no supplement for them.
Well, that tells you that they need to go back to the breast.
Well, and that's just, it brings up a real issue.
Orphanages and stuff that can't have the breast.
Yeah,
I understand that.
Goat's milk is the best supplement if you
Yes.
can't get anything else. If you know anybody that you need to tell, do your own research, of course, but goat's milk is the closest and most gentle milk and fattening milk still that you can get.
And I heard another one was camel milk.
Yeah.
It's more adaptive to human digestion than what we do with cow's milk here, which we shouldn't really. Cow's milk is for
calves.
Yeah.
I don't drink it. I mean, when I found out that milk, particularly cow's milk, the byproduct in the human body is mucus, phlegm. Yeah. And it is one of the chief ailments for many people is that they have their bodies are producing this mucus that it's got to come out somewhere.
Plus, there's all the, antibiotic stuff that's put in the cows, constantly. So that's coming through the milk. So
a little bit of hormones here, a little bit of DNA there.
Yeah, bingo, bango.
Here, drink.
A whole new being. But yeah, so it's...
Go ask Alice when you're 10 feet tall.
But yeah.
I love it. It's crazy, man. It really is. So Lucky, as we get this, we've had a great time. I tell you, looking at this going cool. So we're going into week 2 and everyone will be going out. I'm excited about this week. So from your analysis, what have you perceived thus far? And I'd just like to get maybe your perspective on what you're anticipating, because you're collecting the data. So you're more intimate with it than even I am.
Yeah, it's just people want to express themselves, and I appreciate that. It's just the beginning. If they just said 1 or 2 words for the first, for the symbol, for the word, and then if they had a connection, anyone, and then after that they can say all they want. Because if it was just separate into that, it'll be fantastic. Because people have a lot of good insights. But sometimes it's mixed around in here. I'm trying to find what symbol did they see, what word did they see. Sometimes they have this long diatribe. I'm like, okay, I want to understand. But after that, the whole story is very interesting. The connections, there is so much that was built for us, and then after the fact, there's so many that were found. The foundation was built, and we're going into it, putting each of our own little, aspects to it. Yeah, exactly. And we're creating such a beautiful, we're creating a beautiful mansion, a beautiful castle, depending on what your vision is, because castles are kind of dark and mysterious, but they're also protective and powerful. And a mansion is, beautiful, but it's also kind of cold sometimes. We're all putting our own aspects, our own perspectives, and putting the most positive aspect of everything into there as we do it. And right or wrong, it doesn't matter right now. All you want to do is just go in and express yourself, and we'll figure out the data afterwards. I mean, it's just, don't think about getting right or wrong. Just think about, what do I feel? And let me just write it out. And that's fine. That's perfect. That's exactly what we need. We don't need, the journey is, we have to work the journey together, and it's going to be, as long as you enjoy the journey, it's going to be spectacular. Meditation of itself is the journey, just sitting and letting yourself sit. And if your mind goes crazy, that's fine. Just write down what you see. That's what I learned.
I'm in meditation all day, washing up, sweeping the floor,
Me
in the
too.
garden.
I've been
That's
there.
really
I've
what
been
it
to this
is.
place we're building, and I got to tell you, it's cool. I visit it quite often, and I believe others are visiting because it's becoming much more familiar. And
I see pillars in a circle for me. That's for me when I enter into it. And the last week, I was at a conference when I was having to tune in. So just like Julie, there was lots going on. Unfortunately, it just hit on that day. So, but you know, I'm fine with that. So I'm just tuning in while everybody's around. But it's a circle for me of pillars, many pillars, and I was just seeing the shadows of other people walking around ready to enter through the archway of each pillar. And so, yeah, the connection was very much there, not to the point where I read their energy field or knew exactly who it was, but just so like the mulling around of people, you know, in just in the periphery, just as I was when I was hooking in where I was, you know, there was lots of people in the periphery, but I was zoned in. And that's where I see it. It's very golden, funny enough. And I don't build very many golden things, but it's very copper, goldeny pillars, just endless. They keep getting added. And there's these lovely outlines of people that I knew were us. Just I couldn't quite see it, just like like an apparition, you know, just the essence of it there. But I love it.
it's
great.
interesting you used the word copper because I saw rose gold.
Yeah.
And
That's
that's what,
alchemy.
that's what and it's quite beautiful. And there, I'm getting a sense that there are a lot of those who exist in the astral. They're curious. It's like, what are y'all are up to, you know? And
your friend's very excited about it. Your friend who you used to do a show with. I'm sorry, his name's gone.
Who's that?
He's very important to this. He passed over. Is it?
Oh, Brian?
Brian. He's very excited about it.
I believe that the dude is there. I mean, he seems to be, you get the sense that, and I mean this in all love and respect, he's kind of like the handyman, you know?
Yeah,
he's taking care of the stuff that we can't really do. In fact, I believe that he's got some friends with him.
I was just about to say he's just one of them, but he was very much in my meditation, and I don't know him. I just know him in spirit now, I suppose, but he very much there and present, you know, again, just like one of these energies.
See, right now there's more than, he says there's quite a few. There's quite a few up there.
Well, if he's excited, there's a lot of us, so there's going to be a lot of others, you know, meeting and greeting and getting to know each other like we are, you know, getting to know each other's energies.
Well, I'm pulling in Sanji here in this week as well. So Sanji will be a part of our meditation. You know, I love Sanji. He's a
I would like to lead a group meditation as well, you know, if it was all right with Lucky, you know, with anybody who wants to join in, just an extra exercise, isn't it, to hook into each other's energies and be comfortable with it. So
I believe that this group is going to be where they can actually talk to each other. I think that there are going to be telepathic messages that if anything was to go down, which I believe it will, you know, it's the course where it's heading, but I think we're making the Ethernet of our own.
Yeah. You know, years ago when I started doing all of my stuff, I had another lady that used to live here, and I said to her, you know what, when the internet goes down, so this is like 10, 12 years ago, I said, we'll just telepathically connect. And that's the plan. That is the plan. That is the plan. That is the plan. I mean, but I just like to say I appreciate everything you do for the group, Wayne, and everybody's gifts and talents, right? When we allow everyone to be who we've come to be on this planet, there will be peace on earth because everyone is unique and everyone has a gift. So that's when we're getting to, is we are in allowance for everybody for who they are, because I can't be you, and I'm not Lucky or Jenny. I mean, I'm lucky,
When Mary wins, we all wins.
Yeah, that's it. But that's where we have to be in allowance, really, and thank everybody, like I say, for everybody's gift that they've got, because what we're going to be able to do on this planet, I'm just talking because we are physically on this planet, the magic that we can achieve is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
What we can do.
Yeah. There is such, if love can be a force, then this group has harnessed it very well. That's all I can say. It's just, I've been a part of a lot of groups in my life, but I don't think there has been one where the sincerity of the word is backed up by the strength of the heart.
Absolutely.
That's what the balance is from the mind, balancing it in the heart. You know, it's a powerful thing. And when you know you've got your own clarity and purity in your own being, you know, we've all got our eccentric bits, but that's the fun part of us all.
I love it. I mean, I love it. Lynn, because I'm a very eccentric individual, but as I told her, never doubt the stimulation of eccentricity.
No,
I mean, we're the ones that, you know, eccentricity has electricity in it.
Yeah,
that's right.
We're the ones that bring the energy. I mean, you can go into a meeting where you think it's basically a funeral wake, and then you bring one of us into it, and the next thing you know, they're freaking partying on the ceiling. You know, they're going, okay.
And signing. But yeah, it's loving the difference. I love an eclectic, eccentric being. I love it because they usually allow me to be late and be me, and all of the things that make me eccentric, you know. So but
that's what
you're on that loving the difference is when you know you can have love in an unconditional way, when you can love the difference of yourself and others, and not love the similarities because they're pretty easy, but love the difference and the
Lynn says I've added 10 years to her life.
Wow.
Yeah.
No doubt.
You know, that's what she said. And I mean, kind of made me teary-eyed, you know, when you think about it, because you hear sometimes this the opposite, you know, but yeah, when someone can add life to you, and I believe we can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, this group has a healing about it.
Yeah. I remember when I wrote my eccentric poem, I did put it on my little video yesterday, and that was on the 22nd of the 1st, 2010. Now, that first month in 2010, I had so many poems coming through, but it was working with the honeysuckle. The honeysuckle plant actually gave me the eccentric poem. I was weeding and I had to run upstairs and write it. So because the honeysuckle in the flower kingdom is about letting go. And how more eccentric and letting go is that? Is being, you know, being your true self.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic.
What's up, Loki? You suddenly...
The hummingbird is back, and I haven't fed him yet. I didn't know they were back yet.
Well, you have this beautiful light around you. Well, panel, thank you all. We'll have the group next week. I don't know what happened to everybody, but this was how it was been. So lucky. Last week, we had 59 people that wrote. I'd like to see if we can get that up to maybe, because we got 83, 84 that are.
I think it was 84. Last I checked, so it'd be nice if we could have 84.
Yeah, be great if we get 84 for 84.
That'd be great if we can get 80 for 84. I would be ecstatic.
So let's all make it.
All the ones that aren't on the list that actually join, and you can have 100 or 200.
Yeah, send it. Let us know. Let me just speak a happy Mother's Day. Thank all of you wonderful ladies. If it wasn't for y'all, we wouldn't be. So, you know, Jenny, happy Mom's Day to you. Jules, happy Mom's Day to you. And
Thank
all
you.
you lovely ladies in the Soul Tribe, so many of them in the chat room. We just speak love over you, and we speak thank you.
Thank you.
If y'all didn't do it, we'd be up a creek without a paddle, as they would say.
We need to keep doing it.
Yes. In fact,
Yeah.
it's odd, that, as I said yesterday, that the population of the world is declining.
It's funny that, isn't it?
No, no, but the whole soul thing, I don't know. Lucky, thank you, sir. I owe you a debt of gratitude. Again, I appreciate you and all the work that you and Courtney are doing. Thank you. I appreciate you. I got to tell you, been following you on your channel, and I just love it. Liked it back in the days when you were doing the What's Next series. That was just an exciting thing. I always loved it, So, Jenny, it goes without saying, soul sister. That's all I got to say. It's like, I got you. Yeah. And Jules, much love to you. You are, you're one of the elders. That's the way I look at it.
Well, thank you, Wayne. And your title, which was Coalescence, actually is from adult and adolescence and old and nurturing and to grow up, to grow together.
I want to say something too, because it's interesting. You can only fall down, but why is it necessary for us to grow up? I'll just leave that for the thought for the weekend. What can I say?
I don't think growing up is a very good thing.
Well, plants. Just look at a plant.
Go look at the plants. All right. Much love to you, Soul Tribe. Participate. Get involved. Even if you're not on the list, you can still add to the essence. The fact that we're talking about it. And remember, we only want the 5 shape. And it's very simple, right, Lucky? It's either going to be a star, it's either going to be a square, it's either going to be a a cross, circle, or the wavy lines. So that's what we want. No color this week. Next week, we'll add the color. And then we have the word, and we want your immediate reaction. Is that right, Lucky? The first
anything you can have for a word, just 3 to 5 words, 1 to 3, just, okay, this is what I think of. If it's a short sentence, fine. But just what you think of,
And there's some connection. 17 saw the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
22, 23 saw yellow. Mm-hmm. That blew me away. I went, whoa, because I was seeing rose gold, and anyway. All right. Stay with me, panel.
Really quickly say, Amber is going to come on my show tomorrow. Then I'm going to swap around and I'm going to go on Amber's new channel.
Excellent.
So we're going to confirm a time, but just to help her get some subscribers, and you can also always subscribe to me, but just to help out each other. We're going to do that at some point tomorrow. So I'll put a post up, but that's the gorgeous Amber that we all love. And so it will
Amber Dawn.
Yeah. And subscribe.
Yeah. Love her. She's just very talented, and I'll make sure to tune in, and we'll get her on. We ought to get her on one of the Friday shows.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
In fact, we ought to do that like next week or something.
Yeah.
Hint. Jenny.
Good.
Yeah, definitely. She's so cool. I really like her energy. I love her.
I love it. And Lucky, I'd like to have you join us on when the dudes get together.
We'll see how Wednesdays are. Wednesdays are crazy for me, but we'll work it out. Yeah.
All right. It'll probably be not this Wednesday, but the next one anyway. All right, everybody. Happy Saturday and Sunday. We'll see y'all back here on Monday. Make sure to check out the ladies tonight on the Galactic Drama. Thank you, Simon.
Drama 7, yes.
So I got to get that thing in there all the time. And then I think Robert V on Saturday night, and Nina is on Sunday night. And Jenny, I catch you whenever I see you.
Yeah, me too. I catch me too whenever I see me.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Jenny's on. All right. All right, everyone. Much love in the chat room. We'll see y'all real soon.